Is now okay? Hi, welcome everybody on site and everybody on the stream watching us later as well. Welcome to Deep Learning Labs Stockholm OpenAI Hackathon, working with GPT-3 and Codex. It's been a rough 2 days. Some of you have made it, which is great, and we're very happy to have you. And some of you have not made it. So hopefully we'll see you back on the next one and we can all finish our projects together. This event is brought by WeWork and WeWork Labs together with New Native. And we're very happy to be presenting the completed projects, the pitches from the teams. So first up, we have team number 6, Johan, Kassiem, Willem, and Michael. And they'll be presenting their project. Thank you very much. And let's get started.
Okay, hello everyone. So we're team 6, and we created we started with a problem statement, so we were gonna know what to do. So we wanted to help like businesses know if like how they're doing. So if a person sends a review on their like restaurant or something, it doesn't like they might not have time to answer like all the reviews or like look through all reviews. So so what this does, it's taking all the reviews if it's good or bad and like categorizing them, and all the bad reviews is gonna put like make a list out of it. So it's gonna say like what to do better next time, like train personnel or deliver the food faster because it was cold when it got out. And then it's gonna write a answer back that's gonna be dynamic to the review. So it's not gonna be like, oh, we're sorry to hear that you had a bad time. It's actually gonna be about what they just wrote. I think you can switch. Oh, I haven't read the slide, so yeah. So it's automatically gathering the reviews and it's identifying if it's positive or negative, as I said. And then we wanted to like make a summary of all the reviews, because sometimes it can be like 200 reviews. So it would be nice if to see an overall rating if it's good or bad. Yeah, and that's it, I think. Oh yeah, and then we here is the like overall image we got. So the first circle is the like website. It's gonna take all the reviews, and we take it and we put it in a database, and then the OpenAI take all the reviews, and it's gonna do all these things, like all the steps. And the blue boxes are the boxes that we like focused on, that we thought was the most important stuff. So we tried to categorize them, but we don't have time because we were tired. But we got the negative response and like a summary of the reviews and improvements.
Yeah, so let's show up what we actually got now. Yeah. So we can begin with this one. Here, now it's gathering the reviews through a web scraper. You can see it here, and there it finished. Now it's sending it to the server and waiting for a response. And any minute now we will see it uh, coming on screen. Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah. Well, we can have that. Then we also have this one, which just sends a request Then we have this one that sends a request to the server with a here they come. So you can see here that the first one statement is negative, things to improve on, and then also a response. And the first one is, I'm sorry to hear that we need to look into why the coffee was cold and the food was dry. We will. Yes, of course. Here. So I'm sorry to hear that. We need to look into why the coffee was cold and the food was dry. We'll talk to our staff about it, why it looked, why it took so long. So yeah, they most likely complained about that the coffee was cold and the service took very long.
And this is when the live straight from action into
Yeah.
Recommendation.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we also have a list above here, so it's easy to see what needs to be improved. Then we also have this one, which takes reviews we have stored in a database, sends them a bunch of them to the API, and then lets it summarize all of them. So we can see the first one there, the food is average at best and the service is slow and unprofessional. And then here, a new one, the food is not worth the price and the service is slow and unprofessional. So all of them, every time you send one, it gets a unique one, and yeah, it's based on data we have in our database that we also scrape. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very good. Yes, thank you very much. Should we invite the next team now? What? Okay, great. So let's swap. Very good. Yeah, thank you. We'll be coming back. Let's start with questions. Yeah, good. If you have questions from the audience, that's perfect. Yeah, we can. You have any questions, or Martin? Anybody else? No? And you can answer to the microphone.
Reconnect.
Okay. I don't think we need to look into the pitch, but thank you, and interesting idea. My question is, what got you saying for FMB reviews only and not a generic review platform?
We just scoped the domain model. We wanted to do something more shorter rather than going very, very wide. But of course, we could use the same knowledge for any type of review. So we just started with something we knew our way around them, and we took it from there.
Okay, so that's good. And second question is, once you have the reviews, so it mentions analysis, right? So how does that help? How do you encourage the sitting party as well as the review writing party to utilize whatever you are doing on top of the reviews? So they get feedback, let's say like the restaurant, they say, I don't like it here, and the restaurant has a chance now,
Exactly.
and I get maybe a discount, whatever, for bad experience. I don't know. I'm just asking if you have had any thoughts, just to see from a business point of view.
Yeah, we think from a business point of view, it's not about giving them discounts, but they have a voice which got heard. So they get a nice response and not the same canned response because normally food and beverage, they don't have any dedicated person to do the answers. So through the open AI, they get individual different responses, and at least they got acknowledged. When we use the same knowledge and send a review to the, or a summarization to the restaurant owner saying this is the things you should improve based on the last few days or whatever it was what came in, and that could probably give better service when you go to the future of it.
So third question is, so if it's a food and beverage supplier, how easy would it be to onboard this? So have you thought about it, or is it too early?
We thought about it. We started from the food and beverage. They don't have any staff to do this. So what we need to do to actually write responses is to have their access, of course, to their business. And then we can automate and start actually sending the responses. Then it would be fully automated. All they get is once a day or once a week, they will get a list of suggested improvements. And they also know that their patrons are taken care of. They got a good response. And that's the next step of automation. Thank you.
So just a quick question for me. So when you categorize the bad reviews, yeah, what are the criteria specifically? How do we know that a review is bad or it's good? When does it kind of classify into a good one or a bad one? And is it only kind of star based, or is the text of the review actually analyzed in terms of its sentiment?
It's only text-based. We don't think the stars are adequate, because when we trained it and checked it, we can see 5 stars, but when the language is bad or it's not really good, and the same thing, a 1-star review could actually say something good. So from the open AI, that really opened it up for us. It could really figure out to see that food was bad, but music was good. So we can't say that the full review is bad. Part of it is good, but they need a response. So this is why we did the 2 things. One is the response, the other one is the summarization for the restaurant.
So just for me to be clear, the response is specific to the context of the review. Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
So I just want to ask, like, how did you experience working with GPT-3 and Codex? And also, what do you believe about the future of this type of technologies? So, yeah, your honest opinion on that, basically.
It's nice having this one going back and forth. So, guys, what do you say?
So the GP3 is it blew my mind. It was kind of smart. So because we put a lot of reviews in it, and it could tell like immediately if it was a good or positive, and he just made a list. So that was crazy. The Codex, I didn't have enough time to play around with, because we were trying to just get this done. But we used a Copilot, so we were like in the same ballpark. It's just not really the same. But like I tried some different stuff in Codex, and he just wrote it like without the problem. But you have to be like kind of specific, so it doesn't like go wild and crazy and just start writing stuff.
Yeah, I see a lot of potential with AI writing code and writing responses, but the only thing is the learning curve to knowing how to get the correct response that you want from the AI. And yeah, I feel that I'm a bit lacking a bit there, since I haven't worked with this AI for very much and haven't tested that much.
Yeah, I mean, to summarize, it's extremely interesting, and the future of writing code, we know that Codex can write code, but you still need to understand the domain model, and to understand the domain model, you need to know how to do an issue tree, how to categorize information, how to ask the right things. So this is why it's so nice to have a young team, and we are trying to really put together the way of thinking logically apart from just doing coding. And I did a lot of testing last night as well, running both code, asking for code examples, and trying to trick it a bit and see how it works. And it's amazing. It almost feels like a friend. It's like I have to remind myself it's not something real. It's a computer doing it, but it's like these, with pictures of a future. You saw 20 years back, it's here. So yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. Yeah, disconnect. Thank you. And let's invite our second team. You guys have a connector? Great. Yeah, now it's good. Yeah, so first team did a very good job presenting, and we'll be uploading the presentations to the lablab.ai website later on. If you want to experience other events and connect with us on next online events, all you need to do is sign up on lablab.ai to the newsletter, and you can come on location to WeWork Labs, have a seat, and participate in the online events that will be happening globally. So we expect every 2 weeks there'll be an online event happening. The next one is second week of June, and details will be posted on the lablab.ai website. And we have the almost ready. And everybody that joins the events, whether they are sitting here on site or they will be joining us online, will always benefit from access to OpenAI, to GPT-3 Codex, and hopefully will be able to enjoy it long term and build new cool stuff on it, like we see here today. And we would now like to invite our second team to give a presentation. So thank you very much. And I'll give it away to you. You can, start by introducing yourself and what the project is.
Okay, thank you everyone. So my name is Martin, and
My name is William.
we have a really exciting project over here, and we're gonna do the pitch. But do you think we should do the pitch directly, or? Yeah, okay, we do the pitch. Okay, so now we have our Steve here. He's 50 years old and has a risk of heart disease. He knows that he has to go and work out and eat good, healthy food and get a good amount of sleep. But he's not doing it, like almost as everyone here in the room. So what he needs is a call to action. And then he downloads our app called Life Coach, and and like it makes it go call to action. So he starts by inputting biodata by doing 3 different things. He starts by answering questions that we have provided them to get like the right information to the AI. And then he can connect his smartwatch like Apple Watch or a Ring or everything to get his biodata into our app. And lastly, physical examination as blood test, genome test, and everything to make the AI more precisely and more personalized. So this app will then, no, it's really funny pictures, but this AI will then use the GPT-3 to process the data and act as a life coach towards him. So we tried now to do an MVP for a 1-week plan. And we're just gonna show you like, yeah, we sat all night to do this. And we can show you the code a little bit, but of course, it's no one want to see the code too much. Okay. This,
Okay, so here we have the MVP that we created, and we ran this a couple minutes ago, so that it begins by asking us.
maybe you should come closer to see what's writing. Maybe. So as we said, this is only an NFT, but at least we have got something.
Yeah, so it begins by asking us, tell me what you want to discuss. And if we say respond with sleepy, it will respond till how.
Okay, so it
okay.
respond. Sorry. So to respond with how are you feeling today, and I will respond. I'm feeling pretty good. And then it says, okay, first let's see. Okay, here I'm feeling pretty good. Thanks for asking. I wrote that, and he will write, tell me what you want to discuss, and I wrote, improve my sleep. Okay, first let's see how you're currently sleeping. Are you happy with the amount of sleep you're getting? And I'm saying no, I should sleep more. And they'll come, you're absolutely right, because he has the personalized data that we put in, and da 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 da. So here she suggested a 7-day plan to help you get the best night's sleep possible. So day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, 6, 7. It's super cool, and this is like with the help of the GPT-3. And of course, we want to do it like more like personalized and like better UE index and everything. But this is like an MVP, as we said, and it clearly works. But now we can work.
I can add something else here. As you see here, it says day 1, cut down on caffeine. And this is because we had some input data. That is that the person consumes right now 200 milligrams of caffeine in the morning every day.
Yeah.
So then GPT-3 understands that caffeine can impact your sleep. And then it suggests that maybe you should cut down on caffeine.
So then now we're just like all input data. But imagine when we have all the input data, Apple Watch from everything, like blood sample, everything. Like the input data from everything. Then this data will be so much more personalized and so much better. And you have an example, as William said, with the caffeine, it directly knows it. It's an MVP, but it's super cool. So now we're going back to. Can you see? Can you see to? Or do we have to do it again? No. Sorry. Oh no, we tried to, but skit det. Oh. Okay. So we start with the market research. Talk to Pavel. Okay, how we're gonna do it? So firstly, we're gonna do like a market research, just putting out for like do some ads for $500, and just to see, okay, which one could be the possible group, the target group, because it's much better to see what the market responds instead of us trying to figure it out. So just a market research there, see what's everything going. And then we have the revenue stream. Now we think of a subscription of $10 per month, and we estimated that we think that it's going to take 10 years per customer, but we personally think they will be lifetime. But probably think, you can like estimate in 10 years. So 10 years, you can do the math yourself. It's going to be a lot of money. And future, we don't think like we should end there. We should increase this. This AI should be like integrated into our everyday life. You could connect it with like Uber Eats, for example, and like this AI know exactly what you're gonna eat because of your exercise plan and your nutrition plan, and then it will come up with like Uber Eats. Okay, this is restaurants close to you, and this is like recipes that you can order that fits your diet. Yeah. So this is like, so it's brainstorming. It can be even more like, okay, you live 4 kilometers from your job. A good idea could be to take the bicycle. Okay, I don't have a bicycle. Okay, do you want to buy a bicycle? And then we have like provision on that and everything. You can see it can be how broad as like possible. So this is like the end of this, and I think everyone should join us for improving the quality of life and aging. Thank you. And we would love to take questions as well to speak about this.
So, anybody? Okay. So yeah. So my question is connected with the. No. So my question is connected with the UX. Yeah, and the UI. So can you tell us a little bit like how will, because we couldn't see much of that. So my question is like, obviously this is going to be mobile first, right? So what is the process you envision of people getting into the experience, right? So how do they start the experience? Like when I download the app, what happens next?
So as I said in the slide, we begin with inputting the biodata, and like just not inputting the biodata, but we want it to be so specialized and personalized as possible. So we're gonna ask them a lot of questions in the beginning to make it personalized. So, for example, how many hours do you sleep per day, or how much caffeine do you drink per day, and so on. So begin like that, and then you can put in all the data after that. Or is it something else you? Okay, yeah. So it's like integrating to first. We ask them questions to get it more personalized.
And then after you answer all these questions, there's going to be a data processing to find out which risks you're putting yourself up to by how you live your life currently. And then these risks are going to be taken into GPT-3, and GPT-3 will be able to create a plan based on these risks. Yeah. And here you're going to have a conversation with GPT-3, and you will be able to create a customized, personalized plan based on which risks are most inherent to your life plan.
Thank you for the presentation. Like the idea, I would address some questions based on how a person would use it more than the technicalities, since I understand that. So one part of this kind of coaching is usually helping with discipline, like sort of forming habits and removing bad habits. And I think a lot of improvements can be done just to understand the person's current habits. So there, I like the question and answers. But when you said biodata, I had a thought which was, we have Fitbits today. We have phones that have your health monitoring, taking how many steps per day and all that. So do you plan to integrate that data and utilize GPT-3 to be able to get even, like, one needs to interpret this data. So I have my phone and I get, okay, 23,000 steps per day. What does that mean? What did that do to me? Yeah, right. Do you plan to give that as a motivating factor for the user, so that they can improve it further, and you could probably help them create more value for them, their health, and hence coach them. Is that something in your plans?
So what we're thinking with this project, like the startup or whatever it is to, like, the problem it solves is to
the problem this solves is to make you do action, because everyone knows here that we need to work out, but we don't do it. So this knows exactly when you should do it, how you should do it, how it should motivate, especially you, because you don't work as Paul do. So this AI will like motivate you on a different type of level than maybe for Pavel, because he's more disciplined. Or like. Mm. Mm. Yeah, so the data will be, this will translate the data to, so okay, you have an Apple Watch, okay, I have taken 10,000 steps and I have a heart rate of this, blah blah blah. But what does it say to you? It does. Who cares? But this data translate it so you can understand it better, and it will do it. So okay, because you have taken 10,000 steps, blah 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 blah. You should do this exercise. You have taken very much steps today, so you can do a lighter workout today. You have not eaten so much. You should eat a more like a bigger dinner, and so on. So like it's like translates this boring data and makes it good to the user. So it's user friendly data. Yeah. If you yeah. Just more questions if you don't understand.
No, I think yeah, that's very good. And from the biotech side of it, yeah, can you share a little bit more about whether AI can be used to introduce scientific kind of bio data, yeah, gathered about a person, and how that data can be translated by AI to answer like a specific question. Yeah, is there like, because that's your background, if I understand correctly, yeah, is biotech, and it would be really good to understand like the biotech parameters that you want to incorporate to make it a much more scientific project, and if there's a plan to do it.
Yes, so we believe GPT-3 in itself is better at doing conversations. So we believe we have to build another back end that's going to be taking in the biodata and converting it into risks. So here you have to be way more scientific and precise to be able to find which risks are associated with the different biodata. So say, for example, you have a genetic test that says you're 35% more likely to get a heart disease when you're 60. Then you can find out with scientific research which steps you can take to minimize the risk of getting a heart disease. But here it's really important to be really precise, and GPT-3 is not always really precise with what it says. Therefore, it is better for us if we use a more direct approach, connecting, maybe overseeing it more precisely, how the data is going to be interpreted and how it's going to calculate the risks.
So I ask, generally, Apple Watch and all the other devices scan just the basic data that are anonymous. So the question, how are you going to deal with data privacy when it comes to very personal data, when it comes to test results, blood results connected to actual person, actual reports that you're going to submit into the system? How are you going to manage the data, run the data, and then protect the person and the privacy, and work with the rules and regulations that are there to allow you to actually do that?
So we have the more tech perspective, and we're studying biotechnology. But of course, when this, when we're improving this, we need to take in a legal stuff. I know that you have a good experience in that, and maybe you're pitching in you to start in our company. I'm just kidding. But of course, but I think it's totally possible to do it. For example, with the GDPR and everything, because you own your own data. As a person, you own your own biodata. So the only thing our app is asking, okay, do you want to share your biodata to this app? And of course, we're not gonna like, we make sure that it keep private if you want to keep it private. We need to have a very good transparency with the customers, because otherwise they won't trust us. So 100% transparency, but you can share your biodata if you want to. and of course when we go into deeper, I think we should do like the legal talk after this or not. Sorry.
So just to finish off the last question, similar to the last team. So, what's your view on GPT-3 and Codex, and how do you see the technology coming into the future? What was your experience using it here today, and yesterday, and the day before?
Okay. Yeah, it's been really amazing. So we hadn't worked with GPT-3 or Codex anything before we came here on Friday. So I personally was really super impressed or even like shocked at how general it was and how it just understand pretty much anything you tell it. And then yesterday we were starting to like program and a little bit, and then one of the coaches came like, "Why are you doing this yourself? You should just use Codex instead." And then we started using Codex, and that was insane. You know, we started coding in a course we have at university just like a couple of months ago, and Codex can just solve all the problems we were given in the course just like in 10 seconds, no problem. It just solves them immediately. You just give it the instruction, it solves them. So I'm super impressed. I didn't know this existed.
So I'm like we're saying the same. We're like 50% of the time we were like super shocked, like how does it even work? How can we do it? Like we felt so stupid before we came. Like how can we write our own text? Like wrote an email and oh this can do like our whole exam. So why are we like what the fuck are we doing? So we think super cool, and this is just a third version. Imagine like fourth version, fifth version, and that will also make like our app better as well because it will like give a better data. So I'm super excited, and I also think it will like make make people more equally to each other, because now you don't have to be like in the future don't have to be like a super good developer to make an app or something, because it's so easy. Like we did our code in Codex. I like, yeah, can you write our code? And it wrote the code. So it's insane, like, and I think it's gonna be better in the future as well. And thank you everyone for having us here.
So we'll take a short 5-minute break, yeah, and we'll be back in 5 minutes with the announcement of the two winners. I think, in my opinion, both are winners right now, but there will be one that takes the lead and one that will be runner-up, and then other presentations, if they are submitted later, will also judge, but we will not adjust the winners. So thank you, and see you in 5 minutes.
Oh, this is microphone test.
Cool. Working? Kuba? Okay, great. So thank you everybody for joining us. The first Stockholm-based hackathon together with OpenAI and WeWork Labs. Deep learning labs coming back to Stockholm. Online and offline events will be scheduled every 2 weeks. You can learn more on lablab.ai. And thank you very much for the teams for coming and performing and working super, super hard. So we were looking at a few elements: the degree of completion, the style of presentation, the business value and applicability of the idea, the degree of actual innovation or an originality, and the technology, how realistic is the application of the technology in a real world environment, and then finally overall impression. So without further ado, we'd like to say that both teams are actually runner-up. Yeah, we would like to say that both teams win. We will be awarding $500 to each team in credits on DigitalOcean, so you can use that and to proceed. And just to have a few words, so the first team around the social media comments for restaurants, obviously the degree of completion was higher on the technical side, so the ability of technical completion was much higher. So we really appreciate it that you've worked that out and that it's functioning in a user-facing environment. I would say, yeah, it's a usable app, so that's a clear win there. And for the second team around the life coach, we would say that the progression level is very high. So with I would say slightly less technical ability, you grind out the details and you use Codex to actually code and complete more of the project. So that's super impressive, right? So there's also that needs to be presented. Presentation style, I would say that you had a more of a deck completed on the life coach than the classification of replies and reviews for food and beverage. Business value, applicability, here is actually a tie because we see a lot of instant business value for the first project. Yeah, F&B, it's instantly applicable. You can very quickly get local communities to sign up and to comment on it. For the life coach is going to take a much longer time, so the risk is much higher. We believe there to grind it out. Degree of innovation. Here, to be very honest, both projects have strong competitors, so the competition exists. Yeah. So if any of these projects would want to continue, we strongly advise that that the use of the AI modeling be the core element that instantly has to shine out to the user, right? So similar services exist, but they're not using this type of tech to that level. So if you are able to show to users the much more precise level of correlation with what they are inputting and outputting, yeah, so the quality of the engine is much higher, then we believe that both projects are original in that sense. Realistic capability here, obviously F&B did slightly better because you have the ability to instantly now just put a frame on it and you have a better you can actually deploy this to users. And then overall impression, life coach made a very good impression on us, also because of the clear connection of the idea to the background of the team and the applicability of it. So in terms of a business idea, we believe that it's a more complete business idea. So that's for us. It's both teams are really good, and we wanted to award the prizes. So Thank you very much for joining. And yeah, thank you everybody online who's watching and joined us. And go to lablab.ai, sign up for the next event, and we'll see you there and here.